Today I wanted to talk about a hot topic that has been stirring up the pickleball world, and that topic is rally scoring. And the question is, could this be the future of our sport? And what we're going to be discussing is the difference between rally scoring and traditional side-out scoring, as well as why rally scoring is even being talked about as a potential replacement for traditional side-out scoring. And before we hop into it, let me know in the comments below which one you prefer, side-out scoring, the traditional way that we've always done it, or rally scoring. And regardless of what type of scoring you enjoy more, something that we all enjoy is improving our pickleball game. And the very best way to do that is with the Pickleball Drills app. It has hundreds of different drills to choose from that can help you to improve your game every single day, whether that's with a wall, a ball machine, or another player that you're playing against. So you can sign up and get started absolutely free by clicking the link at the top of the description of this video. It's only for players that are serious about improving their game, so if that sounds like you, be sure to check it out. A rule change to traditional side-out scoring to rally scoring is still pending, as the board of directors has decided to collect more data before making a final decision. That was as of December 19th, 2023. It's almost been a year since that has happened. So then why do they want to make these changes and who will that affect? So let's start by breaking down what rally scoring is. For those of you that are new to pickleball, traditional side-out scoring is where you can only win a point when you're serving the ball. Rally scoring means that you can win a point regardless of if you're serving or returning. So if you actually win that rally, you receive a point. That's rally scoring. That's what they want to switch to. This rally scoring format is currently being tested by pickleball associations such as the PPA, the APP, as well as MLP, which we already know they've already implemented rally scoring. So MLP is known for just being rally scoring. You play to 25, you win a point regardless of if you're serving or returning. So will this become the standard for pickleball? Before we dive into whether or not it will, let's first talk about how this will affect each of us who plays pickleball. Let's kick it off by talking about the pros of rally scoring. So first and foremost, it's so much faster. You're gonna score a point every single time that you play a point. So unless the points go on really, really long, then you're gonna know about how long each game is going to take. So in the MLP, it's a 25, they play to 25 for their game. And so it's gonna last a certain amount of time, almost every single time, unless those rallies end up going longer than normal, which really isn't something that you can control, but that's not gonna add much longer to the actual game. So you can prepare for, hey, this match might take 45 minutes max, and now you know how to block out your schedule based off of how long that match could take. The reason that this is great is because if you've ever played in a traditional tournament where you're doing side-out scoring, such as the PPA, you can play your first round at 8 a.m. and then you'd be playing your second round at 2 p.m. It's literally spread out that far because they don't know how long matches are going to take, and some matches take forever, especially when you're playing 2 out of 3 to 11. And this is obviously super beneficial for the player because you're not going to be at the tournament all day. You know when your matches are going to be because they're not going to go over a certain amount of time. You can even schedule it out to where you know when the gold medal match is going to be, just in case you know you have a dinner planned later and you don't want to play in the gold medal for whatever reason. But it's also beneficial for the actual tournament director because they have that specific schedule and they know when everybody's going to be out. They can get a tournament in and out and get everybody in and out super happy, which isn't really the case with traditional scoring. Another pro is excitement. Excitement for the viewer and also excitement for you. Because since you're scoring a point on every single rally that you play, it builds this heightened intensity, okay? There's gonna be a higher level of play from both players because let's face it, when you're playing with traditional scoring, you'll be over there serving and you'll feel really chill because, hey, even if I lose this point, I'm not gonna end up actually losing a point off of the board. Whereas when you're playing with this rally scoring, you're gonna lose a point. So I think that it will heighten the level of every single player on the court. And also it makes it more exciting for the actual viewer because there's gonna be a point scored on every single rally. So then they never get bored like, hey, why is the score still 4-0? Like this has gone on forever and ever and ever. Lastly, rally scoring is way easier to understand, especially for players that are just getting into pickleball. So easy to just explain to them, hey, yeah, you win a point every single time that you win a rally. That simple. Whereas on the contrary, it's way more difficult to explain to people, even though it seems simple, like it's as basic as you win a point whenever you're serving. People get confused about that, okay? So even though you win a point when you're serving, they're like, well, what about when you're returning? It just causes way more questions to happen. So much simpler to just explain you win a point every single time that you win the rally. That's something that they're used to with every single other sport that they play. So essentially every point counts, making it simpler and easier and potentially more fun for players just getting into the sport. On the flip side, let's talk about some of the pros of rally scoring. First and foremost, it changes strategy. because pickleball as we know it as a whole is known by traditional side-out scoring. That's what pickleball is. So to go on and change it to rally scoring kind of changes the way that the sport works because the pressure is different. So rally scoring takes away from some of that strategy where it's just gonna have to be a constant intensity and a focus regardless of if you're serving or returning. So this can definitely be a whole lot more difficult just simply because you don't get a break. You don't ever get that break where you're serving the ball and you don't have to worry about them scoring. Another con is that it is super fast, okay? The games go super fast, the play goes super fast. It speeds things up. There's not as much dinking going on because of that rally scoring. And so it causes points to kind of go away from that traditional pickleball that we love to play. And the reason for that is because let's say that you start out the game serving. You serve the ball, you're on defense automatically. They win that point, so now they're up 1-0 as soon as they start serving. If they win the next point, they're up 2-0, and they can just go on a run all the way to 11-0, serving the ball over there. Then you get a side out, you only get 1 point from that, and now you're serving on defense again. And so now if they win that point, they're gonna go up to 12, 12-1, 13-1, and just continue rolling it out. So it's a whole lot faster, so this will definitely change the way that the game is played. Lastly, rally scoring levels the playing field a lot of the time. Since both teams can always score a point, there's always going to be a team that has, a really crazy game. And so when you're serving the ball, you're in defense, they're in offense, and they could play really, really well every single time that they're in offense and not so well when they're in defense. So it causes all of these games to literally go to where it's tied at the end. And that's regardless of who you're playing. So you could be playing against a player that you've never lost to with traditional scoring and then play them in rally scoring, and the game is super close. The games are always close, which some players love. I would say as the actual player, majority of players hate. But again, for viewers, that's really fun to watch. So now let's talk about how this affects players at the professional level. As I said before, they've been testing this out, and they use this as the MLP format, or Major League Pickleball format. They'll do rally scoring. So what's super interesting is that the best of the best players don't perform as well as the number 50 or 60 in the world. Something that's a prime example of this is Zane Navratil. He has more MLP golds than any other player. He absolutely kills it in the MLP because he's got this right here. But at the PPA level, I can't remember a tournament where he has won. I know that he's made it to a couple of finals, but he hasn't won at the PPA level, and that's greatly due to the fact that it's traditional scoring, okay? It's side-out scoring. So I would definitely say that this rally scoring format definitely favors the weaker player, regardless of if you're at the professional level or if you're at the amateur level. Tournament directors are definitely benefiting from rally scoring because they know that a tournament isn't gonna run longer than it should. So just like I mentioned before, it's gonna go to a particular schedule. So this is super easy for people to watch so that they know, hey, this is when the finals are, you can hop on, just like what you'd get with the NBA or just like what you'd get with the NFL. As a 5-0 player myself, I have mixed feelings on rally scoring because on the one hand, it's really great because games go fast. So especially if you're hanging up paddles and you got people waiting to come in onto the courts, it makes the game go a lot faster. It's gonna get over within 15 minutes. Whereas with a traditional scoring, it could take as long as 45 minutes for one game to finish. At the same time, I feel like it's a lot like playing in wind where it equals out the level of your opponents. It makes it so that regardless of who's on the other side of the net, they definitely have a chance of beating you, and the game score is always gonna be close. So what does this mean for you and me, for the world of pickleball? This could mean that they will switch to rally scoring. As I said before, on December 19th of 2023, they decided, hey, let's give this a little bit more time. Obviously, coming into now December 19th, 2024, they're probably gonna come to a decision on whether or not to use rally scoring or just stick with traditional scoring. So we very well could be seeing all pro tournaments switching to this rally scoring. That said, one little hiccup is that the PPA recently came out with the UPA, and they may not be working with the US APA. I know that can be super confusing because there are so many words in there, but essentially these rules all come from US APA. And so the PPA is going away from the US APA and doing their own thing, but time will tell again. We'll see if they actually end up going away from each other or sticking together. But that obviously raises the question, is rally scoring better for viewership? Because what it's gonna come down to for these big companies like the PPA, UPA, MLP, I know that's all one company, APP, is if they get more viewers, they're ultimately gonna go with rally scoring, because with more viewers comes more money, and they're gonna go wherever the money is. In a recent interview, actually, the owner of the PPA talked about, hey, the reason that we went with the Vulcan ball wasn't because the Vulcan's amazing. They didn't even have a ball at the time. It was because they offered us the most money. He said, I'd be lying to you if that wasn't the main reason, the first reason that we went with them. He also believed that they could come out with a great ball, which they're yet to. Their version 2 is definitely a lot better than the version 1, but it only lasts about a game before it starts skidding on the court. and the point's instantly over. So they still haven't figured it out yet, but ultimately they're gonna go where the money is. So if it increases viewerships, that's where they're gonna go. If it decreases viewerships, they're gonna stick with the traditional side out scoring. So what do you think? Should rally scoring be the future of pickleball? Or are you a die-hard fan of side out scoring and we should stick with that? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see your opinions as to why and why not. And download the Pickleball Drills app if you want access to hundreds of different drills to improve your game every single day. Link at the top of the description of this video. See you on the next one.